Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. In this video, I'm going to show you some cards. I'm going to show you some cards by doing a couple video responses. I'm going to show you some cards that I recently picked up through the mail, and then I'm going to show you some cards that I picked up last weekend at a vintage card show. And sit back and I hope you enjoy some of these cards. So one of the YouTubers that I'm doing a video response for is, he's a great collector and he's really good for the community. If you have some questions about some weird oddball stuff, go to a guy's channel named Rick Oddball Cards. And what he asked us to do, and he did a video the other day showing some unique backs of some cards. And so I'm going to show you a couple backs of a few of my cards that I want to tell you about. And first of all, the first back I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back and forth with the camera, but the first back that I'm going to show you is this Hank Aaron card. So in 1954, the Hank Aaron, or the cards, I love it because of the cartoons. Now it shows, part of this back that I don't like is it only shows the 1 year of the playing stats with the total. And I really like the cards that show all the totals on the back, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But 54 backs I thought were really neat with the cartoons and stuff like that. And then another back, a set that the backs are the most important on, I believe, are the T206 cards. So I'm going to show you two of these cards right here. Here's a Ty Cobb, and here's a Cy Young. And so the Ty Cobb and the Cy Young, that's great. But here, the T206, I thought had about 16 different backs. And I've always thought that, but you learn more on YouTube with other channels talking and stuff. And now I believe there's more than 30 backs, different backs. And some of these backs are rare, and they really take the value of the cards up and down depending on the backs. So if you can see this one right here, it's a Sweet Caporal, and the other is a Piedmont. Neither one of these two are rare, but you know they have different kind of backs to them, even though they're the same year. Now the reason I like bats, the backs of the cards that have the stats on it. I can see their stats through their whole career up to date, and I really like that. But what kind of makes it kind of fun for me? It was a learning tool growing up. Not only could I read the back and learn more about the player, but I learned to add really quick because I would see the total number down on on their total line, and I would count up all their triples to make sure that added up. And I remember, okay, how do I remember asking my father, how do I figure up their batting average? How did they figure it up? And my dad explained to me that it is at bats, not plate appearances, but at bats, divided by hits, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, with all that stuff on the back, I could see what year he had a good year, if he maybe didn't play in a lot of games. So I like a lot of having those stats on there. And that's a 67 Frank Robinson. And so the backs of cards can be unique. There's some blank backs. There's some of the late 70s, early 80s have baseball kind of games you can play with the backs of their cards and stuff. And so, guys, turn over to Rick's Cards and learn more about the backs of cards. So, John Wade Boggs fan asked us, if you had to get rid of your collection and only save one card, what would that card be? And you got to kind of watch yourself on YouTube, especially somebody like me, because I'll tell a story and I'll, want to be, my favorite card will be one card one day and one the next. But my favorite card that I have in my collection is going to be, it's a 76 Johnny Bench baseball card where he's standing at home plate in a cloud of dust. But, I am telling you that not having any cards and telling my grandson someday, who might be a collector, that I had a 1976 Johnny Bench. He's not going to be so sad that I had to get rid of my cards before he was collecting. But I think if I had to keep one card, or at least I'd be able to tell somebody that at one time I owned a 1954 Hank Aaron. And this card's pretty special to me, and I would probably get rid of my Johnny Bench before I got rid of this. And as you can see with the yellow up here, that's a special card to me. Theo Clemente collector is going to make fun of me with all these new pieces of tape and stuff like that. But that reminds me that I got this card at the age of 11 when I had these cards, because I got it off of a lady's. She paid me to mow her yard with baseball cards. So to answer John Wade Boggs' fan, I would keep the Hank Aaron till the very end. So now what I'm going to show you is some pickups that I got through the mail here recently. So let me turn this around and get rid of this fake Mickey Mantle. And I picked up this 1961 Don Larson. Now, the reason I picked up these cards is recently I've been doing a collaboration with Ray from Philly and Mike Moynihan, baseball collector, and we've been talking about the 300 or the 100 great cards by Mike Payne. No, the 300 great cards from Mike Payne, and this happens to be one of them. And so does this one. We did the series from 1950 to 1954, and I did not have that, but I told them it was in the mail, so this is to prove to them that I got that card. And last but not least on the 300 great cards is the Willie McCovey, and this gives me 3 more to add. I think that puts me at 230 cards right now, so I'm pretty excited. So this past weekend on Saturday, I went to a card show in St. Louis with a friend of mine named Tom and another YouTuber named Billy Ballgame. And we met up with a couple collectors, a couple dealers that I hadn't seen since the National. And it was hosted in the Doubletree Hotel in St. Louis, and it was good. It was kind of a mini Strongsville show. It wasn't all vintage. It had some little shiny stuff there, and some football and some hockey, but it had a lot of good dealers, vintage dealers there. But the first thing I want to show you before I got there, my friend Billy Ballgame gave me something that was probably hard for him to give me. He probably wanted to burn it at one time. And see, in 1985, the Kansas City Royals played the St. Louis Cardinals, the I-70 World Series, and the Royals won the World Series. But Cardinal fans will tell you that Game 6 was blown. They got screwed in Game 6, and I'm not here to argue with the Cardinal fan because they're in my state and I represent them. But if it would have happened the other way, Tim McCarver and Joe Buck would have said, "We caught a break." And this is a ticket from Game 6 of that series where Don Deckinger was the umpire at first base, and he made a safe call with George Orta running toward first where he was clearly out. The Royals went on to win that World Series, and I really love this gift. I'm going to hang it up on the wall. I'm going to do something with it, and I really appreciate that. So one of the things I picked up was this card right here. Now, this is a John Donaldson card. It's a reprint, of course. John Donaldson played in the 1900s, early 1910s, that kind of stuff. And he was a Negro Leaguer, and he was up for being voted into the Hall of Fame 2 years ago and just missed it by not too many votes. He's from the little town that I live in of Glasgow, Missouri, and the ball field has been recently named after him with a stadium put up. So I really like this card. I might end up donating that to the museum at some time. But another card I picked up was a T205 gold border home run Baker. Now look how pretty this card is. Now that I could have left there with that card and been just really, really happy, but nope. I had to run into another case, won by a really good dealer. Tim Payne is his name. And I thought this ended my Roy Campanella run, but it does not. I need a 1952 Bowman Roy Campanella. So guys, if you're still with me, thank you for watching everything. And listen, I'm going to do a video challenge coming up. See, today is my 100th, or my 100th, it's my 1 year anniversary on YouTube, and I'm just really excited and happy that I was talked into my baseball collector in doing so. But also, I'm getting really close to 900 subscribers, and when I do hit 900 subscribers, I'm going to do a video challenge, and I think I'm going to give away a pretty neat gift. At least I think you'll find it that way. So guys, give John Wade Boggs fan a look. Give Rick Vintage Oddball Cards a look. And guys, remember, it's just a hobby. Collect what you like.